I'm just waiting to see if anybody jumps on. It's 4 o'clock my time. So what I'm going to do after I've got my hair all fixed is I've got my computer all set up. I'll just kind of show you. I'm really happy about how I'm all set up here. We've got the park, and then I've got a little bit of internet because we're next to this little strip here. So I'm going to see if this setup works. Hi, got a couple people. You can say hi if you're there because I'll try to say hi back. So if you're there, you could like type your name in the comments if you'd like to. I won't say your name like totally out loud. Hi. Hi. I'm super excited about my setup is what I was saying. And so I'm going to try to pin a comment in the group here and just see if I can see like where I'm live in the group, and then just see if I can't find it and pin it, then we'll just go ahead and get started. Okay, looks like it's here. So I'm going to do a comment right now, and I'm going to do a comment over like what the questions that we're going to go over are for our second practice of the day. So we're on, I forgot what I typed in, self-love practice 2, and it's release over functioning. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this in here. This is all a test run, so I'm kind of excited. Okay, so let's see if this will go. And then there's a way to pin it too, so I'm going to maybe try to pin this. See if I can do it. You can only do it while you're like online, so let me see. Ah, there it is. Okay, so I think if you guys go and to your comments, you'll be able to see the questions. So I kind of wanted to have it all set up so that even if you didn't have your book with you today, you could go ahead and just either think about the questions, or you could just write them down on whatever you have. But I already gave away my paperback copies of the book, so I don't actually have those in front of me to kind of flash you. But I do have like my PDF papers with me, so like if you have the PDF ability to like print it out, you could even just print out the sections that you need, or just find your own journal too. Okay, so we have some people jumped on. I guess I'll go ahead and say your names, like hi Rebecca, hi Karma. I'm excited. Okay, so this might be all that we have. I just wanted to give it a few minutes. I'll give you guys a little picture of where I am. I already kind of did it once, but I've got some internet connection because I'm right across the street from a strip mall, so that's exciting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and if you guys want to answer along, like once the questions start, like if you're at a computer and you want to type anything in to yourself so that we all can see it, that's fine too. Or if you have your journals with you, you can go ahead and kind of get those out. But I'm just going to read off to you the sections, and then I'm just going to give us a moment to kind of go through the questions together, because I just kind of wanted to be there with you in case that was easier to kind of go through the questions and then answer anything you guys might want to bring up, and then also kind of let you know like when I did the exercises or when I've been doing them, because I've done them a few times, like maybe kind of what came up from me. And part of the reason I'm at the park is because I have to jog over and get Jacob at some point, so we won't go crazy long. We won't go past like 4:30, but we might be done before that if you guys have any questions. And if you think of any later, you can always type them in the comments later, or if I miss something, I'll go back through and look at the comments too, because after I go pick Jacob up, we're going to go to the library, so I'll have some more time to kind of look at the computer there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to get back to where I was on my list here, but if you do have your book with you, you can go ahead and Self-Love Practice 2, it's on page 10 if you guys have the actual book with you. And then if this is a replay also, I'm going to talk to you as if it's a replay, as if you're listening to this on the replay. So, Self-Love Practice 2, Release over Functioning. Are you so busy that you've forgotten yourself? Have you been running a mile a minute? Have you been cutting into your sleep time to get more done? is work taking over your personal life. Overfunctioning is doing too much. It looks like doing more than your share or stepping in to rescue another person. It is doing something for someone when they are capable of doing it themselves. We often think we are helping our friends, family, partner, and coworkers when we step in, but what we are really doing is spreading ourselves so thin that we can no longer offer the strongest versions of ourselves. Overfunctioning limits your ability to function to your fullest capacity. There is only one you. There is no amount of money worth more than your life. There is no greater gift to others than the strongest version of you. So let's discover in what areas of your life you might be overfunctioning. Answer the following questions here. Give yourself a moment to contemplate each question and answer honestly, even if it feels painful. Okay? So I'm going to read off the first question to you, and I'm just going to give you a moment to actually write it down in your journals, or if you're at the computer, you could even type it in here if you wanted to share. Okay? So the first question is, what would you do if you had more time? Okay? So just anything that comes to your mind, anything that you've been thinking lately. What would you do if you had more time? So I'm going to give you a few moments to write that down. Okay. Hopefully you've got something. Otherwise, you can pause this if it's the replay and keep on writing. Okay? So our second question, what are you doing at work or at home or for friends or extended family outside of the home that is ultimately their responsibility? Okay? I want you to go ahead and just write anything you can think of. I'll repeat it again. What are you doing at work or at home or for friends and extended family that is ultimately their responsibility? Okay? So go ahead and write some of those things down. And if you're a caregiver, I don't want you to feel guilty about being a caregiver, because some of us have different responsibilities, but within that caregiving, is there anything for the person that you're caring for? Is there anything that you're doing that they could do? So go ahead and that they could physically and emotionally handle and do. Is there anything at all that you're doing for somebody that ultimately they could do? Okay? And I see your answers coming into the first question, so I'm going to give you time for the second question. And I'm just reading your comments. I'm going to see if I can... Some of the stuff it looks like that we wish that we had more time to do is baking stuff and gardening. Two for gardening, and then spending quality fun time with the kids for our first question. And then for our second question, what are you doing at work or home that's ultimately someone else's responsibility? Rebecca, I like your comment. I give 100% too, so I just want to put that out there. Okay. So I'm just asking you questions for these exercises. I don't exactly have answers for you, but it's just stuff I want you to be thinking about, because we're going to do some more exercises over boundaries later, so it kind of might be some related to that, but I just wanted to get you thinking. Okay. So our next question, third question, last question. How does it make you feel to know that the time you could, how does it make you feel to know that the time you could be spending on what you want to do is spent on helping others do something that they could do for themselves. So this one was kind of the hardest for me and brought stuff up. I'll repeat. How does it make you feel to know that the time you could be spending on what you want to do, those things on the first question, those things that you want to do, the gardening and the kids and all that stuff that we are listing currently, plus anything else. How does it make you feel to know that that time that you could be using for that is spent on helping others do something that they could do themselves? So I'm going to just let you pause and sit with that question. You can type it in if you want to. And I see Rebecca says, I want answers, even though I said I wasn't going to give answers. I'm just going to give kind of what comes up for me, because I don't want to boss you guys around too much, ladies around. So I see angry and resentful. We had a little bit of a pause. I see angry and resentful as part of the feelings. Okay. So our third question was, how does it make you feel to know that you could be spending time, on the time that you could be spending on what you want to do is being spent doing things for other people? Okay. So now that you have that emotion sitting with you on how it feels, thanks, Karma. I want you to list as many things as possible that you could stop doing tomorrow. List as many things that you could stop doing tomorrow in order to take back the time for you to do what you want to do with your life, or for you to be able to do what you want to do tomorrow. So this might be a hard one to think about. If you can't think about something tomorrow, think about something like within the week. Okay, within this coming week. Is there anything that you put down? List as many things as possible that you could stop doing tomorrow in order to take back time for you to do what you want to do with your life. And then I'm going to just pause and let you ladies come up with some answers. And then I'll kind of share. Okay. Laundry. Stop doing laundry tomorrow. Whose laundry is the question? Okay, so our statements, again, and they are in the pinned comments. What would you do if you had more time? All the fun things. What are you doing at work or home, or for friends and extended family that is ultimately their responsibility? Then how does it feel to know that the time you could be spending on what you want to do is being spent on helping others do something that they could do for themselves? And then we're ending the journaling section with list as many things as possible that you could stop doing tomorrow or this week in order to take back time for you to do what you want to do with your life. Okay. So I didn't know how much I was going to say, like, about my own personal stuff, but I think kind of honesty is like the best policy. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of share with you how this came about. I love to save the world. I kind of have like a hero's complex. I don't know if you guys have noticed that I'm always out there trying to save everybody. So there is, and if you're watching this, you're probably a lot like me too then, because you've heard my messages and then now you're here. But I'm pretty high functioning. I can handle things pretty well. I'm pretty good at a lot of different things. And a lot of times I might be better at like ordinary tasks than another person might be. So like what I've noticed myself doing, and I'll get a little bit more specific, is that if I see somebody struggling with something, or if they're having a bad day, I'll come in, and even if they don't expect it, I'll come in and start helping. In years past, especially when I was kind of going through some hard things with my divorce, even with, girlfriends and stuff, Like sometimes there's some relationships get started where you end up doing stuff that ultimately they could be doing for themselves, and then if you take it on, it actually like robs them of the opportunity to kind of grow stronger. So that's the idea. That's the theory, is that if we have a hero complex where we want to go in and save everybody, and then we do because maybe we can do it better or faster, or we don't want people to be alone or in pain or have too many struggles at once. The idea is not only does it overload us and we overfunction and then we don't have time for what we want to do, but we rob other people of the journey. And sometimes if there's something other people need to deal with in their life, like maybe something bad or challenging, or whether it's a job or relationship or whatever, we can come in and start helping, and then we take away a little bit of the pain from their day, which is what we want to do. And they love it too. They're very thankful. But then we're not letting them feel the full brunt of their situation. And sometimes if people don't feel the full brunt of their situation, then they'll never get out of that situation or bring healing, because they're not even really feeling the full brunt of what's happening in their life, because you stepped in to kind of lessen the load. So that's just something I wanted to bring to your attention. That something that I've realized is that if someone can do something, if they can do it, and they're able, emotionally able and physically and financially able to do something, and then I go ahead and step in, I might run the risk of robbing them of their journey, okay, and growing stronger. So I see, oh my God, I do that all the time. I never thought of that. Yeah, so that's kind of why I wanted to come on and just share some of the personal stuff. I don't want to tell you what to do. I just want to share with you some of my observations. And I've been doing a lot of I've been doing a lot of trainings myself with mentors and coaches and stuff the last several years. So this has been a journey for me also. So on my things, like, it looks like I do a lot of stuff all the time. But there's still like really stuff like that's not work related that I would love to do. So some of the stuff I would like to do if I had more time is paint. And I play the ukulele. I have a ukulele. I've had one since 2007. I don't play it. I could find any other more constructive thing to do than play that ukulele. But that's what I want to do. Like, I'm out here doing this whole thing for I don't even know what sometimes. And I'm sitting here thinking about like, oh, well, someday when the stars align, then I'll paint and then I'll play my ukulele. I could play now. So that might be one thing you guys might need to like hold me accountable to, is painting and playing the ukulele. And so what's interesting though is like the second thing, what am I doing for someone else that's ultimately their responsibility and that they're able to do for themselves? This was like really painful for me, and part of the reason why I delayed this book for like 6 months. And part of the reason why I didn't want the guys in this group either, because sometimes we might talk about our significant others. I see the love hearts. I love love hearts. Is that sometimes we're caregiving for our partner. I'm just going to say partners. Maybe it's not a man. And then we do it like sometimes we do it without them asking. Okay? So what was challenging for me is that my boyfriend moved in with me a few months back. And all of this stuff that I thought I had figured out, because it was like just me and Jacob, and I had our schedule and everything was mapped, and my life is mine, and and I had my boyfriend in these little time blocks. All of that went out the window. Hi, Mariah. All of that went out the window when we moved in together, because all of a sudden, even though he may not have even cared for me to act a certain way, because I've been married like twice before, I found myself all of a sudden like reverting to just like maybe a version of myself that was like a 2004 version of myself, or when I got married again, a 2010 version of myself. And it was very like, cooking all the meals and cleaning all, and just way over functioning to a point where I have totally got away from that the last 5 years, like taking care of a man at all. So this exercise, I had to go through this again with myself over the last few months and talk to Barbara about it, my therapist, because all of a sudden I found myself like thinking I was responsible for breakfast and feeling like I was like his breakfast, and feeling like I was responsible for dinners and lunches and all of this stuff that I never felt responsible for the last 5 years. And all of a sudden I like put that on myself. And so we went through it a little bit. And so that's all. I just want to draw your attention to kind of that even. I don't want to tell you what to do, because I think everybody enjoys different tasks differently, household things differently. I don't really have it in me to love it very much, but I do like, some cooking and things. Okay? And I think that as women, we feel the extra pressure, but then we don't take account for the fact that a lot of times we're working, and we don't take into account that whole thing I was saying before, where we don't let them be the strongest version of themselves. My partner, my boyfriend, actually it seems at first like if I'm taking care of things for him that he's enjoying it, but like really, since he can do it himself, it almost kind of like deflates him a little bit and demotivates him a little bit, because all of a sudden he doesn't even have to take care of basic tasks for himself. And so I noticed that my overfunctioning and thinking I was giving him love was actually kind of setting it up for me to almost be disappointing, because there was one morning where I was going to make breakfast and I didn't get the right timing down, and then all of a sudden he was late, and then I was feeling bad because he was late, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that was the morning I got it. That was the morning it clicked for me, was like, oh, I put myself in charge of your breakfast, and then I screwed it up, and then now you're late, and now it's all my fault, but really it shouldn't have even been my job. Maybe it depends on how your relationships are, but in our relationship, it's not actually my job. So I don't know if that helps at all, to know that I struggled for that much, even just so recently. So I just want to encourage you, when you go through these questions, just to kind of keep in mind what little things, even stuff like breakfast or planning meals, can other people help you do that stuff? Jacob is learning all of that stuff, and I think it makes him a stronger person to learn all that stuff. So I just want to encourage you in that area. Okay, so I'm going to open it up for everybody that's here. Does anybody have any questions for me or comments? I see everybody. And speaking of Jacob, I don't know what time it is. So let's see what time it is. Okay, so it's 4:25. Okay, so I hope you guys are all having fun. I'm having fun. I thought this was pretty fun today. I was trying to think of how I could do all this online stuff and still make it fit with my schedule. So it's been a fun little test, and this has been cool to see that the internet works right here. So I might come back tomorrow and see if this will work again. Okay, so I'm going to continue to put the audios in for chapter 2. Audios will come in tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And then the live streams at 4 Central Time. And I see it's all those little things to the exhaustion for me, and I do too much for everyone, work and home. Yeah, yes. I even found it at work too. I started off with kind of setting up some boundaries. We'll talk about boundaries later, with my friends, and that was really painful, and I'll talk about that again later. And then also my work friends. And just one little story, just because I saw that comment, too much for everyone. The most stupid little thing at work was this laminator. I'm really good at laminating. And so all of a sudden at work, I work in a condominium and there's other staff there, and I'm in charge of the fitness center, and I make a lot of signs, so I laminate things. And so if if we let it happen, like those little things, like all of a sudden for like 2 years, which pissed me off every single time, I was in charge of the laminator. And meaning it sat at my desk and I had all the laminating sheets, and that anytime any other staff member needed something laminated, they would come to me and act like they didn't know how to use it. And then I would end up in the fitness center, mind you, laminating stuff for like the front desk and like things to go outside and all of that little stuff. So I just got rid of that damn laminator like 3 weeks ago. I put it upstairs to the, there was fallback a little bit over the stupid thing. Like, people told me that they didn't think it should be upstairs, it might get stolen upstairs. They liked it better at my desk, because then, people would know where it is. I've had 4 people call me about that laminator. Miley, do you have the laminator? I need, could you help me with the and I'm like, no, I don't have it anymore. There's too much stuff on my desk. People complained about all this stuff on my desk, so I moved it up to the storage upstairs. Oh. And it was painful. I mean, that's a stupid example, but that laminating takes like 15 minutes sometimes to warm it up and do all the sheets. Like, I've laminated about 12 sheets for somebody once. While people watched in the fitness center, they watched the whole thing going down. Like, I'm robbing people of the ability of learning how to laminate. That's what I told myself, that these people can learn how to laminate, and I'm robbing them of that opportunity. So, sorry. I just kind of went off on a little story. Is there any other little things that are coming up for you guys? Like little things off the top of your head that like maybe you're doing for other people that they could totally do themselves? I mean, we've said laundry, we've said cleaning. I've mentioned the laminating stuff for people at work. All of that stuff, maybe record that. If it comes to your mind later, I do this exercise over and over again. Like, if you guys do like the PDF version of the book, like you could just like print this out and use it. Like, you just print out page 10 and then just try it. Like, before I did this whole thing with you guys, I like went through the exercises 4 different times. Like, I went through this book 4 different times because I really just wanted to make sure that like I was doing the practices too. I see LOL about the laminator. Yes, I've become the person to do everything. I allow people to slack by doing it all myself, which makes them expect me to do it in the future. I could list the work tasks at the office. Yeah. And the worst thing about it is that when you can't do it all, then you fail, and then the people that you're over functioning for, they get mad at you. Like my boyfriend, God bless him, like when breakfast was late that day and he was late, he got in his feelings about it. And I just can't. I mean, it really messed me up for a minute, but I just can't. I hear exactly. Someone says, Karma says exactly. So yeah, like at the office, like, you've got your own job. I've got my own job. I help people change their lives. Like, I'm doing some serious shit. Which is fine. I can laminate. I'll laminate all day long for my stuff, but... Oh, the other thing, making signs. I'm really good at making the signs. So not only laminating the signs, but then making of the signs. Making of the out-of-order signs for the whole entire building is what they put me in. And I'm like, it's not that hard. You just get onto Word. And so the thing that saved me there, sometimes the universe, I say the universe, like, I don't know, I talk about the universe, but sometimes I think, like, when I'm dealing with something, God or the universe or whatever, like, brings it to my attention and, like, has me handle it. Because my whole entire computer crashed. I had dozens of signs. Like, all kind of signs for everybody, and people were calling me, hey Miley, I need an out of order sign. Do you have any out of order signs? And so those little signs were not only like I made them, designed them, but then I laminated them, and they were like these little squares, and I cut them out. I don't know. So I'm thinking of funny things, but my computer died, and then all the signs are gone. So now people are not only like mad about the laminator, but I also, like, when they call and ask for a sign, I'm like, my computer died, and so I don't have any of those. And then I just leave it, because I'm not redoing them. I'm not redoing them. Everybody in their own departments is going to have to make their own signs. Okay. So I think we have the point. So the points are, to recap, if you had more time, you could do all of the things you want to do. Well, let's back up. There are some things that you want to do. You've listed them. There are things that you're doing for other people that they could do themselves, that is taking up your time. You are feeling not good about that. And you actually have a list of items that you could stop doing tomorrow or this week. Okay, so I just want to put that out there again. And then I want to put out there again that not only are you robbing yourself of what you want to do with your life and your whole life, but you're robbing the other people. Okay? You're robbing the other people of the ability to handle their life and have possibly better self-esteem. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. I don't know if people really have better self-esteem after they make a sign or laminate something, but at least you've taken your 15-20 minutes back. Okay? Because even if you don't have another task you need to do in those 15 or 20 minutes, like, the other thing is, like, when you get too many things going in the day, then you start going like this, and then you can't even breathe, and then you don't stop for lunch or anything. Okay? So sometimes you can take some of that out of there, and we'll talk about meditating and stillness a little bit later. All of that other stuff, like, you can throw out other crap from other people that they need to be doing, and then you can have stillness. And you can have 10 or 15 minutes of just recollecting yourself. Okay? So that's my sale for this, like my sales tactic. Okay? You could have more time for your life, and you could help other people become stronger. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go, since it's 4:30, and then I'll make some edits and updates and things, and try to send out. I'm going to keep trying to update the email list too. Okay? So thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys. You'll hear from me again at 6 in the morning, and then you'll hear from me again at 4 tomorrow. Okay, bye. Thanks.